you do need an internet connection to play the game. And if you are experiencing a weak Wi-Fi signal, you might want to consider creating a hotspot on your phone and then linking the game to that hotspot. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about here, that's okay. Ask someone who understands what a hotspot is. Have them help you set up a hotspot on your cell phone. And anyone in the world who has internet access can get access to the game. And the first thing they'll see is this page. It's called the home page or landing page. It has quite a few buttons on it. I'm not going to play all these buttons. You can do that later on your own. And I do encourage you to explore all of these buttons on your own. I'm not going to cover everything here. I'm just going to hit the high points. Now, before I click to the next page, I'd like to show you one video that's on the home page that's pretty important. And you might want to share this with the groups that you're going to be playing it with, because it defines the word UNIVIEW. That's a term that a lot of viewers will be unfamiliar with. That's because it's a term I coined. So I want to define it for you. So let's watch this clip first.
My name is Matthew, and I'm Professor Overman's assistant. Professor Overman wanted me to define the word UNIVIEW for you, since it's a word you might not be familiar with. A UNIVIEW is a view of everything, unified by Christ's ownership of all things and his authority over the totality of creation. It's a comprehensive view, from molecules to monster stars, and beyond. God is beyond. So it's a view that's bigger than the universe itself. It's a biblical view of God, creation, humanity, moral order, and purpose. The fact is, Jesus is Lord of all, so he's relevant for all and connected to all. That's what a UNIVIEW affirms. The word UNIVIEW is an antonym for the so-called sacred-secular divide, which doesn't really exist. The important thing to know is, a UNIVIEW shapes human values, influences behavior, and creates culture. It also helps people navigate through life's minefields. That's why having a well-developed, biblically informed UNIVIEW is so important, and why it is best to develop it when you're a kid like me.
Okay, that's helpful. Now, the next button I'm going to click is just below that video. It says Get Ready to Play. When I click this, you're going to hear a very short instructional video. I'll just let it speak for itself.
Each player is to have their own copy of truth statements relating to people and things, and truth statements relating to activities and events. Before you start playing the game, make copies of these documents for the players by using the links below. Copy the documents in color, front to back, so the players have 2 pages rather than 4. If the students have never played the game before, do a pre-game exercise by having the players go through the list of statements relating to people and things, one at a time, and identify which statements have a strong connection with George Washington.
Okay, I want to pause here and make a few remarks about these truth statements. These 2 lists really form what I call the grammar of a biblical worldview. And it really is my conviction that this grammar needs to be well understood before students get to high school. And that's why I have targeted the game firstly to 5th through 8th graders. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be played at the high school level. It certainly can, and I hope it is played at that level. But the truth statements were written in terms that a typical 5th grader can readily understand, and that makes it more accessible to the younger students we are targeting. They haven't been dumbed down for others, though. They're fine for adults as well, or high school kids. The idea is that the players will make strong connections between particular truth statements and activities, events, people, and things that they focus on during the game. They earn 1 point for each good connection. They have to not only point out which truth statement connects with a particular thing or person or activity or event, but they have to explain how it connects. Why is it a good connection? And the moderator will determine if that is a good connection and award 1 point for each good connection. Now I'm going to click the How to Play the Game button, and when I do, you're going to see 4 short instructional videos. They're quite short, but I'm just going to let them play non-stop without any commentary, so you get a big picture of where we go from here.
This unique game can be played and enjoyed by anyone 5th grade and above. The moderator may be a teacher, a parent, or an older sibling. The flow of the game is intuitive. Landing on different squares requires different responses, and the prompts are written simply and clearly. Just follow what it says to do. The moderator can set a time limit for the game if desired. The players don't have to go all the way around the board. The team with the greater number of points, when time is up, wins. If you are leading the game in a classroom setting, divide the class into 2 teams, and then divide the teams into thinking buddies of 2 or 3 players each. This gets everyone engaged and increases the quality of the answers. Always allow a few moments for the buddies to consult with one another before starting the timer to hear responses to various questions. On the class whiteboard, make 4 columns with 4 items in each column for your students to select from when determining which specific person, thing, activity, or event to focus upon. These items are to be people, things, activities, and events that your class has been discussing in their regular curriculum. This ties the game into whatever the students are learning about in their normal studies. See the example below for more details. If this is the first time your class or your family has played the game, it is recommended that you do a pre-game exercise with your group. Have your group go through the truth statements relating to people and things one at a time, from the top of the list to the bottom, and pick out truth statements that strongly connect with George Washington. Some truth statements connect with George Washington more strongly than others. Talk about which ones connect the strongest.
Okay, here's an example of a whiteboard full of potential people, things, activities, and events for the students to draw from. It's just a sample, it's a rough sample, and teachers will have to make their own collection of items for the kids to discuss. But the important thing is that the items on the board have some connection, directly or indirectly, with the curriculum or whatever they're studying or talking about in class. That makes it very, very practical. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of this, but it's important, and I urge you to take a look, not only take a look, but actually carefully read all of this if you're a moderator, so you can be the best moderator possible. I would like to make a comment about the video playlist here. You'll find that in the game, there are sprinkled some short video clips for the players to watch. The longest video clip is 3 minutes, I think, so they're not going to take a long time to view, but they are very important. We created these videos in a sequence from 1 to 20. Obviously, they can't watch 20 videos in one game, but over a period of 7, 8, or maybe 9 games, they will get through the entire list. And if they start this in the 5th grade, by the time they're through the 8th grade, they may have seen these videos several times all the way through. They're not going to get tired of watching them. They're not boring. And each time they view them, they're going to get more out of it. But they do form what I call a theology of work, which I think is critical for Christian education. And I encourage you as a moderator or as a parent to look at these before you play the game with the kids. If you use the format here and you start at the top, you can get the top one going. It will show up down here, and every video after that will play automatically. So you can go through the entire 20 videos in under 1 hour if you want to. And actually, I do recommend that, but I'll let you do that on your own. Let's get back up here to the top, and I am going to click right here, this next button. Let's just go right to the game. Here we go.
The first thing to do is for the moderator to designate 2 teams and appoint team captains. The moderator will also divide the teams into small groups of 2 or 3 to facilitate discussion. The team captains will give names to their teams, and the moderator will type those names into the score boxes.
Okay, I'm going to name one team the Soaring Seagulls. And I'll name the other team the Bouncing Buffaloes. Okay, it says when you're ready, click here. Here we go.
The moderator will now determine which team goes first by rolling the die. The team that gets the smallest number goes first.
Click here to roll. Well, the Soaring Seagull's got a 1, so I predict they're going to go first, unless there's a tie. Click here to start.
Let's go!
Click here to roll the die.
Hi, I'm Anna. Your task now is to choose a person from the past that is connected with a topic you have been learning or thinking about recently. Your team will have 60 seconds to identify specific truth statements relating to people and things that strongly connect with your person of interest. Then the opposing team will have 60 seconds to identify any fitting truth statements you may have missed. You must tell how the truth statements connect. Your team will be awarded 1 point for each fitting truth. Your game moderator will decide if the truth statement is fitting. Before the moderator gets the 60-second timer started, take a moment or two to consult with your thinking buddy about which truth statements you think have the strongest connection with your item of focus. But first, you need to determine what your item of focus will be.
Okay, let's say the class is going to focus on Isaac Newton, which is drawn from the whiteboard that the teacher put items for them to draw from. And they consult with their buddies just briefly. The moderator starts the 1-minute timer, and let's just say Soaring Seagull's got 4 good connections, and just to be fair, let's say the Bouncing Buffalo's got 4. Okay, let's move on and click the die. Okay, they won't always land on this square, but if they do, one of the team members is to ask God to give insight and wisdom, and I think that's a pretty important thing to do, even if you don't land on the square. And they get 2 points for that, so we'll click that. Next turn.
There are 20 short videos for players to watch, but they aren't all watched in a single game. It may take 7 or more consecutive games to view them all. These videos are in a particular order, and they are meant to be viewed sequentially. To make sure the video in your current turn is the video to be viewed next in the sequence, click the name of the video below.
Okay, this is the first time through the game, so the moderator is going to click Why Go to School and then continue.
Your task now is to watch the next video on the video playlist and tell how it connects with one of the 5 UNIVIEW components: God, creation, humanity, moral order, or purpose. Your moderator will select the category to focus on by using the spinner below. Your team will be awarded 1 point for each fitting connection. Your game moderator will determine if the connection is fitting. You will be given 60 seconds to complete this task. The opposing team will then be given 60 seconds to make connections that may have been missed.
Okay, this is an exercise in focused listening or focused viewing. So we have to spin the wheel to find out how we're going to focus our viewing. Okay, so on this video, the students or family members are to focus on how does the content of this video connect to the biblical view of creation. I'm not going to play the whole video, just a little bit so you get a kind of a flavor of it. So let's watch this. Today I want to talk about sawing logs. Now hold on.
I'm not talking about taking a nap, so don't nod off on me just yet. I'm talking about harvesting trees, the kind that are loaded onto trucks, hauled to sawmills, and cut into 2x4s. Did you know that harvesting trees and turning them into building materials is the work of God? That's right. What I mean is it's the kind of work God created humans to do. I know that might sound surprising, maybe even radical, but it's actually Bible 101. You see, back in the beginning, God gave humans a specific job description. It's in Genesis 1 verse 26 through 28. I call it the first commission. The Amplified Bible puts it this way. Then God said, "Let us, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, make mankind in our image, after our likeness, and let them have complete authority over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the tame animals, and over all the earth." God created humans to govern, steward, and manage planet Earth. My friend Chuck Colson, who is now with the Lord, put it this way. On the sixth day, God created human beings and ordered them to pick up where he left off. That's why you're in school, by the way. You're in school to be equipped to rule well over this material world, and that's the purpose of education. You were made to be an earth tender. This includes not only tree harvesting and carpentry, but also civil service, technology, homemaking, and rearing children.
Okay.
It involves physical work like
I'll let you look at the rest of that later on. So now each team has 1 minute to talk about how that particular video relates to the biblical view of creation. And if they're not sure what the biblical view of creation is, of course they can refer to their handouts. But let's just say the soaring seagulls comes up with 3 connections, and just to be fair, let's say the bouncing buffaloes come up with 3. Let's continue on. Roll the die.
Just for the fun of it, have your team tell 2 jokes, sing a song, toss a wiffle ball or a ping pong ball into a trash can from 15 feet away 3 times in a row, or perform some other display of talent. The game moderator will award your team 5 points for good effort.
Okay, here the captain needs to express some leadership, and they do a display of talent. It can be one volunteer or the whole group. If for some reason nobody does anything, they lose 2 points, so there's a little bit of incentive to actually do something here. Let's say they do a charades or something and they get 5 points. Okay.
Here is your chance to live your faith out through your hands by serving others in the next 5 days. The team captain will help determine the specific service and who will do it. It could be a volunteer or the whole team. The service may be as simple as picking up litter, bringing food to someone in need, helping weed a neighbor's yard, or volunteering at the local food bank. When proof is presented to the moderator in the form of a cell phone photo of the service accomplished, the team will receive 5 points at the start of the next game.
Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. Here again, the captain plays an important role of making sure this actually gets done, and proof is presented to the moderator. And if they do this service, they will be awarded 5 points at the start of the next game. So I think that's one other good reason to play it every week, so you have a continuing game going all year long. Let's continue on.
There are 20 short videos for players to watch.
Since we've already heard that and we know what she's going to say, I clicked end video, which the moderator can do at any time. I would like to just show this second video just a little bit so you get an idea of what's going on here.
Your task now is to watch.
Okay, let's spin the wheel. Now this time the kids need to watch this video and think about how the content of this video connects with the biblical view of moral order. Again, to refresh their memories as to what that is, they can look at the list of truth statements for both people and things and activities and events. Let me show you just a little bit of this video.
Have you ever noticed how some people run toward problems instead of running away from them? Firefighters do that, and so do moms when their kids fall and scrape their knees. There are some great heroes in history who intentionally ran straight toward big, messy problems. One of those heroes was William Wilberforce. Wilberforce met Christ when he was 12 years old, a middle schooler. Later in his 20s, he had a deep spiritual experience that caused him to think seriously about becoming a pastor. But his wise friend John Newton, the man who wrote Amazing Grace, convinced Wilberforce that he could do a better job of serving God as a member of Parliament. And Newton was right. You see, Wilberforce understood that knowing Christ meant doing his bidding in public. Wilberforce didn't hide his faith. He lived it out in plain sight. One of the biggest problems he ran toward in England was the British slave trade.
You get the idea. And I'm not cutting this off because I don't think it's important. I'm just conscious of the time here. Let's just say the bouncing buffaloes made 3 connections, and just to be fair, let's say the soaring seagulls made 3 connections with moral order. Let's continue on.
Your task now is to select a type of work, paid or unpaid, that is connected in some way with a topic you have been learning or thinking about recently. Your team will have 60 seconds to identify specific truth statements relating to activities and events that strongly connect with your work of interest. You must tell how those truth statements connect. Your team will be awarded 1 point for each fitting truth. Your game moderator will decide if the truth statement is fitting. The opposing team will then have 60 seconds to identify any fitting truth statements you may not have mentioned. Before the moderator gets the 60-second timer started, take a moment or two to consult with your thinking buddy about which truth statements you think have the strongest connection.
Okay, we've heard that before. We know what she's going to say. Let's say they're studying the Industrial Revolution, and let's say they want to focus on the work of manufacturing steel. So it looks like the seagulls are up first, and let's say they come up with, let's say they come up with 4 connections, and then let's say the buffaloes come up with 4 connections, and let's continue and roll the die again.
Rise to the challenge.
Your team selects one member with good penmanship to write a handwritten note of encouragement to a public figure, using words agreed upon by the group. It should be no longer than 2 paragraphs in length, and must include 1 Bible verse. It is to be sent through the mail. The note must be shown to the moderator before it is mailed to verify that this undertaking has been done. If verified, the team will be awarded 5 points at the start of the next game.
Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. Again, the captain plays a key role in making sure that gets done. Let's continue. Roll the die. Okay, now remember, the game is not over when someone reaches the end. It's not over until the time limit is up, or until both of the teams complete the circle. Whatever team has the highest number of points actually wins. So let's see what happens here.
Your task now is to choose a current event that is connected in some way with a topic you have been learning or thinking about recently. Your team will have...
Okay, we know what she's going to say.
Before the moderator
Now they have to pick a current event, and because I'm from Seattle and the Seattle Seahawks just won the Super Bowl recently, I'm going to I'm going to make that the current event of focus. Let's say the seagulls make 3 connections, and let's say the buffaloes make 3, just to be fair. Okay, and then continue on and roll the die. I think we're getting near the end here. Yep. Okay, so it looks like the bouncing buffaloes won by 1 point. If you go to the How to Play page and you scroll down near the bottom, you'll see a paragraph there about biblical worldview contextualization. The teacher will actually upload their lesson plan as a Word document or as a PDF document. And if they upload that lesson plan, it'll point out what the teacher does well, and it will also point out what can be done to strengthen that lesson with respect to biblical worldview integration. And it's very specific if the teacher uses the right prompt. I hope that gives you a pretty good idea of how the game works and why it's of value. Again, I do urge you to look at these buttons up here, which I did not even open. The About button is very fascinating, gives you the background of the game and a lot of other interesting tidbits about it. And then the pricing, I think, is one question you might have. Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate you listening, and God bless you.